Света я могу добавить. Мне не хватает света. Rolling. 3, 2, cue the talent. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here Sergey of Charuk, who is a painter, and you can see his work behind. Let's hear Sergey. How do you like the show so far?
Well, it's a great show. I'm taking second time.
This is your second time
I'm
here?
becoming loving New York. So,
What your work is about? How do you?
well, I don't like to get any self-judgment. I simply do what I love. That is the first my criteria, right?
Okay.
Then another secret about me, mainstream. Since childhood, I extremely love the colors. The colors is actually my mainstream, right? So that's, I would say, you can call it color expression, impressionism, post-impressionism, whatever. I leave it up to art critic professional to tell what style is that.
Who usually buy your work? What kind of clientele do you have?
Well, it's quite interesting
It's
question,
Family, or that would be for a lobby, for the building.
Various. It's simply, I would say it's not so contemporary like I'm calling them more fine art, right? Various kind of people. I say even sometimes the people are becoming really attracted by the energy which is coming out, which is really I'm charging every of my work there. So somehow even the people who know about art not so much, are extremely coming. So that is energy. We love that. I said yes, it's a really energy through the colors coming out to you. And always charging with each of my works with the positive energy only. I never allowed to make me kind of destructive or negative things, in my works. It's like this.
What's the prerogative? I see that you don't have a gallery that represents you. You sell yourself. What's your strategy? How do you present yourself as an artist?
Actually, I used many sources. First of all, for today, I'm dealing with the numbers of the gallery. I'm a London-based artist, right? Second one, I belong to the biggest artist community in England, is the Wimbledon art community. Actually, right now, I make a kind of advertisement for our guys there. So on top of that, I know it's just today it's a quite a trend coming up, with the internet. Most of the galleries coming online whatsoever. So I'm dealing with Saatchi, with the kind of the number of the brand.
Do you do any drop shipment?
Yes. I'm well organized in that. That's. I have a lot of clients, who came to me, through internet or somehow all these sources. So that's fine with me.
How do you promote your exhibition here, your booth? How people know that they should come to the 504?
Well, normally, you see, when you're climbing up, in your career stage, okay, you're getting your database customer mailing list, as we're calling, growing up more and more, right? Always I'm spreading information by personal email invitations, you see, to each of my customers.
How many existing clients already you send the invitation to come here? What's
in America?
Yes.
I would say in this moment, because I started only last year. Nevertheless, I've got a lot of private customer, USA customer, who bought me in London, So they're also in this list, but right now about 200 people.
So with 200 people, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 10 pieces.
About 12, yes.
12 pieces. How many do you think would be a good ratio to sell through those days?
Well, it's really unpredictable.
You don't go by members, day one I need 2 pieces to be gone, and day 2 3 more pieces. And
you see, sometimes it's really coming unpredictable. As I want just to tell you, basically, I'm not really watching the kind of statistic, following this one, because I believe everything you did is already on the wall, right? The rest is beyond of your control. except you make a proper marketing
Right.
preparation whatsoever.
What's the after effect? Let's say 6 months, 5 months. You would not sell probably every one of them right now, but you might bring home. So how long is the effect of the show last year was for you?
You see, that's a good question, because a lot of people coming back to you after a month, or 2 months, or 3 months after exhibition, suddenly mailing you and say, "Oh, we saw you here and there. I'm still alive. We finally considered to get one of your pieces." That's quite common practice, you see, like galleries are doing. So I'm not really pretend to say, okay.
Is the week or two is a very high important right after when they feeling is fresh? That's when they buy, or it's like it takes a while, months and months when they get ready. Like they have Christmas time.
Depends very much. Of course, there is a kind of the season influence there involved. You know, I mean, everybody running for the gifts, you know, before Christmas. Then everybody knows, right? That moment the people are more hot, warm to get straight away something. You know, that's what is happening in England oftenly. And another issue, you know, which you can easily predict, you know, and the customer are really hot. Then they coming and say, "Oh, we got a new apartment, or we have a new house, and we extremely need some art, okay? And we love you, and we want to go." That's that bingo, you know. That's going quite quickly.
So the real estate guys are quite important, because when the interior designers are quite important. With these guys actually selling the apartment, they need some piece of art there. When people buying,
I'm talking about the individual. Okay, I've been dealing with the interior dealers like that, as you're saying. Honestly speaking, I've not really a good or impressive experience. You know,
think that this could be a centerpiece
with them.
for the apartment. I can see that as selling point for the apartment. You put a piece of like that, you can sell the property. That's really moving the price.
I would love that everybody have the same, you know, approach like you, but honestly, well, I would not really complain. But I have been spoken with some kind of the professional out of this area, right? And the negative fact is sometimes, you see, they're simply destroying you, because they are going to sell the buyers the concept of the whole interior, right? And my piece of art is a very little piece inside, you know, and
If
sometimes
you
they
talk
even
to my wife,
step out.
I
And
know
that's
what
it.
you're talking about. If you would ever talk to my wife, the way she builds a house, first she buys a piece of art, and then she builds a house around it. It's a centerpiece that first, and everything else one piece. But you need to have something where your eyes go. You have the paint, and then everything comes to it. The furniture and everything else. You can't have the fulfill the house and then try to fit the art. That's something that's not
That
right.
was a real art lover and collector should go this way. But very oftenly, you know, you meet the reaction absolutely different. Oh, we have a green wall. We got some kind of sophisticated flower there. We need something really particular, just a kind of the element. I said, "Look, my dear, you are buying piece of art. It's not a craft. It's a fine art. Okay, it's not fitted to your ficus, to your curtains, to your wall. It's completely different."
It's opposite.
Well, I try to be really polite talking like this, you see, but still, you know, some of them they enjoy. Some of them said, "Oh, well, okay." I said, "You're the master. Okay, make your decision."
Okay, love me or hate me.
Yeah.
Don't be indifferent.
But
see
I
a lot of
absolutely
colors.
agree with you. That is only one approach. You're buying
If you
really.
want to have the proper, house, you want to have the eyes have to rest in the.
Absolutely.
That's how
Absolutely.
it has to be
You want to
built.
build a right atmosphere, you know, for you with a cozy. That doesn't matter with the architecture or sofa or any furniture. Partly yes, but it's not the main things, you know.
Okay. What is the next stage for your career? How do you take it from, let's say, how much this piece? Like $4,000, like $5,000? How do you take it to
Yeah.
40,000, 50, 100,000 pieces? How do you move forward?
Well, you see, for me, actually, I'm on a such stage, you see, which I have no problem basically with the sales. Sooner or later, even maybe not straight away, which it comes.
At some point you was, let's say, $30. At some point you was $400.
Right.
Now you at
Okay.
$4,000.
I got you.
So how do you
Well,
get to the next level?
Normally, if we're speaking the professional language, right, in the art business, so that it should be like that. Any public sales, official sales, that's just not public sales. Public sales, it means if the gallery or the third party authorized dealer sold you,
Christie's,
like that's even less, but anyway, any official guys you see sold you, from that moment, if they sold you that time on, for example, 10,000, so from that moment, that's your market price. That is the market
but
price.
not all the work is the same. Just because one piece is for 20 doesn't mean that all the other ones that just raise the price of the whole collection, the artist.
Depend on the size, depend on the subject, but more or less, you know your tunnel, you know the price-wise, especially if we are talking that the minimum level when I cannot jump down, because otherwise there's no professional.
How that correlates with number of sales that you have to take as a profession to stay on float. Let's say if you do like one sale in 2-3 years, that's not really realistic. If you do one sale a week, that's a little bit more like a cohesive pace. How do you keep up with the pace?
Well, it's quite individual, of course. I can talk about myself, right? I'm quite okay. The question is very simple, you know. If you might ask the colleague, you know, are you living or surviving? Someone surviving. I'm living already from my art. And it means I have quite good number of sales, which I can afford myself, you know.
So what do you do to make it like a kind of to the next level?
To build up myself on these terms?
Social media, it's like a press,
Yes,
or it's like
yes, sure.
Is there any particular moves that you think that you
Well,
should to move up, let's say, from $4,000 to $40,000?
Well, it's going consequently from the, let's say, one auction, one public sales to another one, to another one, to another one. But the more you have the collectors, you see, actually, normally in the case with me, the most oftenly the person who got one piece from me, sooner or later they coming back for the second and third. And I have number of the guys you see quite unique, who having in their collection more than 15 pieces in one hand and still watching me every year and getting one or two another one, right?
What are the contingency plans that you have in place for the circumstance like death and incapacitation? So if you no longer can paint or you no longer in this world, what is the process, how the estate going to be managed?
Well, you know,
We all die at some point.
well, mostly it's not depend on me, you know. I cannot predict, you know, how God give me the time.
Have you done any trust fund preparations? Is there any particular will that assembles the trust?
Not yet.
So you-
Actually, it's still early. I start to collect.
No one look.
Yes, you're right.
Death, but it's like a contingency plans, like some art, exhibitions and some art galleries. Getting ready to buy the collection up front. So in case of emergency and you're no longer there, they can buy it off and have the legacy go through. You have not done any legal work in that sense.
Well, the one point is clear, you know. I never gonna sell my copyrights. You see, all the copyrights is mine.
Not at
Yes.
the point that,
But the rest is not as beyond of my control.
right. Usually the artist will have maybe a wife or kids or like a lawyer, someone who will take care of the legacy after you're gone, and how that would be, how that legacy would be managed.
It's too early for me to say somehow,
you
but
have
I
not-
start thinking about that. It's just the first which I have to do. I start to just shift it a little bit for my son, you know.
You don't have to do anything about of the bridge. At the
Yeah,
moment.
no.
But the planning is very important to getting that burden of they show.
Agree.
So what you're not here, God forbid tomorrow, what your son gonna do?
It's too early on this stage for me, Alex.
I'm not any suggesting, but artists who have some value sometimes, have. It's what I'm trying to question here. The, Usually, the artists who have those contingency plans have much more. Planning, so the galleries, the guys like me who have ability to move things around, I understand. Okay, they have planned this route, this route, that. So there is a future. So there is a plan how the artist can grow, and it could be $500,000 piece at some point. So
I'm
where
nothing
they
against, who knows?
like
And I have a very healthy ambition that one day it's happened. But at the moment I'm going slowly in my mind, growing slowly.
Okay.
And I would say, just as a matter of fact, which I can confirm you as a fact which happened now, I mean, it's the people, for example, who start collecting me 3 years ago, for example, they already, it's today market price of mine works, they have already the benefit of 200 minimum % already.
Okay.
And I guess it's not an end, I'm joking.
Here, guys, this is drawing.
Yeah, well,
So next time you come here, maybe the same kind of pieces will be maybe at the next market.
well, I try to live. I never like to push or just make a self offer of
It's
mine.
not a push,
But
it's decent. You earn to be here. You obviously, if you here, at least somebody pays for the, flight. Somebody pays for the booth. Somebody pays for the time. So it's definitely you're at a certain level where
but that's
those
I try to
expenses are
be
covered.
handsome and organize myself these things, and God allow me, because I have no problem basically with the sales. I mean, so the whole pieces which I have already produced as a full-time artist for today, it's around about 85% is sold out. And it still is moving and predictably, right? And I try to be honest to all my collectors and the customers, saying them only one thing. I'm here and I pretend to work hard, that you will get paid by benefit of the extra price, because you trust me and invest on my art, on a certain period of time, you might get among the pleasure a commercial benefit. And then I'm ready to work hard. And the main things that I love it to do it. I cannot avoid to stay without no doing.
When you select people who represent you, what are the main aspects like you would consider? Is this a selling ability, or maybe a beautiful model with a beautiful, physiques and looks? Is someone who have great contacts? How do you choose your salespeople?
Basically, it's the end of the story. It's a sales ability. That's it. I was myself in the past a very professional trader, commodity trader for 25 years. I know how to sell and what to sell. So, well, of course, the final result.
How do you go from commodity trader, like being in the finance world?
My biography very similar to Paul Gauguin. He also dropped a very good prosperity business activity in 45 and became a pure full-time artist. Basically, that's the same happened with me. And the difference was that I was in the childhood. I was trained in a special school for that.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, what's the way to reach out to you if anybody wants to buy a piece? How they can reach out?
Welcome to my Facebook page, Fine Art by Sergey of Cheruk. You can meet me on Facebook. You can meet me on my website. All contacts are open, so just write me down. I'll definitely make an answer. Thank you, Alex.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Cut.